Hello, my name is Hassan Sorrells, and this is the Leadership Lessons from the Great Books podcast shorts. There's no co-host on these shorts episodes. These are now around 2 to 4 minute, sometimes as long as 6 to 10 minute observations, ideas, thoughts, or rants about the literature, philosophy, psychology, and even the theology of leadership. Because listening to me talk about leadership for now around 2 to 4 minutes is still better than reading and trying to understand yet another business book. Even that business book your coworker won't stop raving about because it quote-unquote changed their life, but you can't see any difference in their leadership behavior. So how good could that author be? Okay, well, this one's going to be a little hot, so let me cook. America has been a post-Christian nation for at least a little while now. That fact alone allows me to ask the basic question, why isn't it okay for me to eat my neighbor? In case that question stuns you, or in case you're going off of some assumptions you've never examined, let me challenge you a little bit. If morality is relative and we can't really know quote-unquote truth, then it follows from that presupposition that the morality of valuing human lives becomes a matter of perception, individual perception, rather than mass shared objective fact. If personal values are based in perception, my perspective and my power, or lack thereof, as many people are caterwauling about today, then it follows from that thinking that I should be able to take advantage of acquiring as much power as is humanly possible and let the devil take the hindmost, if I believed in the devil anyway. After all, there's little compelling reason to avoid being a tyrant, other than being a tyrant is just not being quote-unquote nice. I can't think of a more recent time, at least in my own time, when the secular world has taken the assumptions granted to it by historical Christianity, including assumptions about the worth of human beings, the rights of women, and even freedom of speech, and has given Christianity almost little to no credit for those presuppositions. We all just wander along like it doesn't matter. As a matter of fact, I'll go even deeper. I can't think of a more recent time when the hostility to even the idea of granting credit to Christianity for the concrete basis of moral and ethical ideas that have led to the most human flourishing in the history of humanity has been more pronounced. But such as is the cultural evolution towards paganism, which is, of course, the logical outgrowth of a secular, atheistic, postmodern worldview. Don't worry, the laws of physics about vacuums being filled are still in effect in the moral and ethical world you and I live in, just like the laws of gravity are still in effect in the material world we all still live in. Look, if postmodern secularism wants to have all the benefits of Christianity with none of the Jesus, this is going to be a real problem, not only for the continuation of the West, Pache Elon Musk, but also at an individual, at a micro level. It's going to be a real problem for leaders and teams, particularly into the foreseeable future. If you don't believe me, or you think I'm full of nonsense, just take a pause and consider this idea. All worldviews come from a set of presuppositions, and all worldviews have a foundation, every single last one of them. All worldviews grow from a seed of preconceived assumptions. Leaders, more importantly, leaders who are leading teams of people, especially through our algorithmically driven time, must acknowledge where their worldview, and of course the worldview of the algorithm, comes from. What is the seed? Where did it originate? What is the foundation? Otherwise, They will be taken by surprise, confused, and completely and utterly discombobulated when the concrete of their foundational assumptions under their deeply held worldviews gets torn up by the next thing after postmodernism. As the pattern continues, as it has been in the West for about the last 50 years. And well, that's it for me. Thank you for listening to the Leadership Lessons from the Great Books podcast today. And now that you've made it this far, you should subscribe to the audio version of this show on all the major podcast players, including Apple iTunes, Spotify, YouTube Music, and everywhere else where podcasts are available. There's also a video version of our podcast on our YouTube channel. Like and subscribe to the video version of this podcast on the Leadership Toolbox channel on YouTube. Just search for Leadership Toolbox and hit the subscribe button there on YouTube. And while you're doing that, leave a 5-star review if you like what we're doing here on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. Just go below the player and hit 5 stars. We need those reviews to grow, and it's the easiest way to help grow this show. And tell all your friends, of course, in leadership. By the way, if you don't like what we're doing here, well, you can always listen to another leadership show. There are several other good ones out there. At least that's what I've heard. All right. Well, that's it for me.